Welcome to the Hotel News Now podcast network, part of the CoStar Group. This is the Next Gen and Lodging podcast, which examines trending issues in the hospitality industry, led by three dynamic hoteliers who are really shaking things up. Thanks for listening, and visit hotelnewsnow.com for the latest industry news every day.
Hello, everyone. My name is Davonne Reaves. I am 1/3 of the Next Gen and Lodging podcast. I'm also the president and founder of the Davonne Group. We are a consulting and investment firm for hotels, as well as CEO of Vestor, a crowdfunding platform for commercial real estate, including hotels. I am being joined today by two amazing people. I've actually met both virtually. That's how we became acquainted. And then Loren, I actually met her in person last year. And Kyle, we still haven't met yet. So we have to figure out how we're gonna make this happen. So we can meet in person. But I'm going to start off with Loren. Can you just briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Loren Brown. I am actually a third generation hospitality professional. I've been in the industry for 11 years now, and I create content online of just my life. I'm a girl and living in a hotel world. So
I love it. Yeah. Kyle, what about you?
That's so cool, Loren. Like, I want to learn more about you because that's awesome. And yeah, my name's Kyle Allison. I have been in the hotel industry since I was 17. And right now I live in the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is actually the #1 DoubleTree by Hilton in the brand. And our company just took over a country club called the Reading Country Club. And I just became the general manager of that. So I'm kind of like living in two worlds. Like, I live and work inside the hotel, but I also work at the country club. We're trying to reopen it. So I'm doing a lot. So, but I'm just honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations. Woohoo. I don't have a siren, but if I did, it was like, So today in the Next Generation and Lodging podcast, we are actually going to talk about operations. And just a little background story for those who are just tuning in or just new to the Next Generation Lodging, or Next Gen Lodging, is co-founded by myself, Davonne Reaves, Omari Head, and Christopher Henry. Both my buddies from the industry. We've known each other for 10 plus years, and we realized that there's a lot of conversation about the hospitality industry, but it's not a lot of conversation from people from a diverse crowd, pretty much under the age of 40, right? And we are technically the next generation in lodging, and we want to hear more diverse voices, and we want to hear different voices. So today, we're just going to talk about how operations have changed, post-COVID, right? It's been over, like, I don't know how long ago since I've been in the industry, like actually working in the trenches. I actually got my start working as a front desk agent, and now I've navigated my way to hotel ownership. But I noticed a lot of people who I came up in the industry, they're no longer like working it's not too many people who are literally working like in the industry and operations. So, and we don't talk about this enough. Like, we really, as an industry, we really don't talk about enough how we're going to keep our industry going, meaning from the talent perspective, right? We're talking about today, but we're really not talking about tomorrow. So that's why I wanted to ask you all, because I know you are all in the trenches and you all are so passionate about the industry. So Loren, I'm gonna start off with you ladies first again. Okay. So you are actually in the hospitality industry. Can you share briefly like your background and your experience?
Yeah, so, oh my goodness. Like I mentioned, I'm third generation hospitality. I actually had an internship in high school with it was a hotel management internship, and I just did it to get out of PE. It counted as a gym credit. And so, but really, it was my dad that got me in it. My dad, he's a retired executive chef, and there was a hotel being built nearby at my house, and I asked him if he knew anyone, and of course he did. And I got in. I started actually in the industry as a hostess in a restaurant. It was pure nepotism how I got in, and did front desk manager, and also assistant and manager of operations. And now I'm a sales coordinator at one of the Omni properties, and I love the industry, and I love also what I do. And I just love to share it with people because there's so much opportunity and people just don't know. If you don't know, how can you go, or how can you grow?
I love it. I love it. All right, Kyle, you're up next. I see you a lot on LinkedIn. You have a strong LinkedIn presence and social media presence. And I just love how much you share your passion, for the industry. So can you talk a little bit about your experience and how you got into the hospitality industry?
Yeah, thank you. That's very kind of you, by the way. And Loren, that's cool that your dad was an executive chef. That's awesome. We love chefs here, even though they can be tough to work with sometimes, because chefs have big egos.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that they are artistes. Okay, they're artists.
Yeah. So I guess how did I get started? So my mom was a flight attendant. She still is, actually, with United Airlines for like 39 years. So I saw the industry from a young age by like being in airports, going on trips with her, staying in hotels and that sort of stuff. And I just like remember like the feeling that I would get being in like a travel setting, whether that's an airport, hotel, or whatever the case might be. And I just makes you feel important and makes you feel like you're doing something, and it's a good feeling that you get. So then what ended up happening was my mom applied for this hotel job for me. Like, I didn't even know that she applied. And one day somebody called me and said, "Hey, I got your application." And I was like, "Oh, yes, you did, I guess." And then I started working at a hotel right around the corner from my house, a 310 room Hilton golf resort. And then like, I just was deep in it, never left. And yeah, and then I worked at a lot of hotels, and now I've lived in a few hotels and worked in them, and just have a podcast called Hospitality MD. And I'm so grateful for every gift that the industry has given to me. And I just feel blessed to be a part of it.
I love it. I love it. So one of the challenges that we're facing, I love the stories, and it's like every time I hear someone's story about how they got into the hospitality industry, is always unique. It's always different. I think that's the first time, Kyle's the first time I've heard where like they mom just applied and they didn't know it. So it's like, hey, yes, I'm gonna be working in a hotel, right?
You need a job.
Yeah. Right. You need. That's pretty much what she was saying. Like,
yeah.
son, you need a job, okay?
Yeah.
You need a job. So you all have been, so how long have you all worked in hotels? I've worked in a hotel for 6.5 years. Loren, how long did you work in? Well, you're still working in a hotel. How long have you been in the hotel space?
11 years.
Wow, 11. Kyle, what about you?
Sorry, I'm trying to do the mental math here. I was 17 when I started, and I'm 25 now. So that's 8 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. 8 years. Wow, you're young. 8
Yeah,
years.
well, yeah. He's able to rent a car now.
Right. And I just did, actually, for the first time.
How did it feel?
It was miserable. I hated every second. Because the reason I rented the car was because I was flying for free with my mom's thing that I can still do.
Yeah.
But you fly standby, so you don't have a ticket.
Yep.
And fast forward, 12 years later, right? 2020, COVID hit, right? And it was bad. I mean, hotels are literally shutting down, like literally closing their doors, handing the keys back to the bank. How was that experience like working in the hotel space? Like how was that? Like mentally, like just how was it? Kyle, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I was in Chicago when this happened, and I was working at a hotel called The Wit, which is in the heart of downtown Chicago. And I just remember like this like anxiety, like as it was first coming up, like because we kept hearing about this thing on the news, and like we would have like meetings with like the GM and stuff about like, well, should we worry yet, or do we have to worry, or like, wow, this is really getting crazy. And like, but we didn't conceptualize like what could actually happen because we'd never been through anything like it before.
Right.
So then like, I just remember like one day coming in, and like my boss was like, all right, the owner just let us know, like, oh, and what happened was we kept seeing the group bookings cancel. So convention canceled, citywide conventions in Chicago. McCormick Place is the largest convention center in the Western Hemisphere. So you got boom, every day, cancel. And then we were like watching our numbers dwindle in real time, watching everything fall apart. And then it got to the point where we came in one day and the owner said, we're basically going to have to, we're preparing for this to be like the world is collapsing and we're shutting everything down, but we're not closing because we want to stay open, because our insurance company won't let us close, because if we close, we're not a business anymore and we're not eligible for what deals we have. And whether that, I think that was either probably a lending and insurance requirement. So we didn't shut down. So I was one of like, we went from like 240 people down to like maybe 8 or 10. And I was one of the 8 or 10 people. And just happened to be at the time, I was actually, because of some things in my friend's life, his girlfriend cheated on him, that they were living together, and something with my brother and stuff. So I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 guys at the time. Wow. So I had my bed in the living room. My brother was on an air mattress in the kitchen. My one buddy had the bedroom. So my boss was like, anyone who's working can move into the hotel during this time if they want. Because of the pandemic, I was like, yeah.
He's like, say less. Say less. I'm here.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So wow. I moved into the hotel, started living there, working in it, and it was just eerie. It was like a zombie apocalypse outside. And then we started to see a little bit pick up like in the summer, like there was like March 2020, and then starting like May, we started to see life kind of change a little bit with like this leisure travel, and people were getting sick of it. But then what happened, as we all know, was George Floyd passed away, and there was demonstrations throughout the whole country. Chicago was one of those places. And my hotel ended up getting like looted, and it was in the middle of a riot. And then that's when we actually closed down. So I was working that day, and that was like one of the most memorable days of my whole career in this business was that. And I don't have to go into the whole story now, but basically just life was so crazy during the pandemic working in a hotel. That's my message, was totally different than anything.
How was it like mentally? I'm just curious, because I don't think we talk about it enough, the mental strain that COVID had. So how was it like mentally on you?
I felt like I was pretty mentally strong, because I was like in a situation with people. Like, I think if I had been let go, my mental health would be off the rails. Like, I'm blessed that I still had a job, because I was like, okay, every day I have a purpose. Like, there's still guests here to take care of. Right. If we do the right things now, maybe we can bring our friends back to work. Maybe everything will get better and we can bring people in. If we do the right thing with our business, if we do it right, we can bring people back. There's people here we have doctors and nurses staying here. Like, we have a purpose to serve with hospitality with our current guests. And that actually kept me totally like TTD, like 10 toes down the whole time with everything. It wasn't until that situation happened where the hotel was looted. We boarded up the whole hotel, but we eventually closed it, and I was let go, but I was actually living in the hotel and babysitting the hotel with the security guy for like a little bit. So one night we watched The Shining in the lobby of a boarded up hotel in the middle of a pandemic at like 4 a.m. And that was a mistake. And that was probably the lowest that my mental health was watching The Shining in a closed down hotel. But aside from that, having a purpose of being there for the guests kept me sane. I probably wouldn't have been able to say the same thing if I had not been with a purpose in life.
Now, Loren, what about you?
So for me, when it occurred, I took an opportunity to work for an oil and gas company. I've worked there before, kind of, on contract, and it was just really good to diversify my resume and get into corporate America. And unfortunately, they had to trim the fat. Since I wasn't an employee by them. So I was caught in the middle. I couldn't go back to travel and tourism with hotels because everything in the world had just shut down. My husband, he's a general manager, and it was really tough for him of, letting go of staff, or really being the only manager. He worked at a Comfort Inn at the time, so a smaller property, but still he had to manage it all. And he got a call from his owners saying, I'm already on unemployment. So he, having a job that he's a breadwinner anyway. So just blessed that he had a job. But his owners called him saying, hey, we had to close 6 or 7 of our properties. We don't know if your hotel is going to be open. But thank God his property is like right off of a freeway here in Houston. So there was a lot of, walk-ins or guests. Now he didn't get the guests he may have wanted, but he got some. So I remember asking him about how his day was, and I'm like, what was your occupancy today? And he's like, it was 20%. I'm like, oh, 20% is good. Like
Right.
20% was good. Like, then it got to 40%. So it just kept going up and down. And, another thing is, like, one day he came home smelling like a billy goat. You're the general manager. Why do you smell like trash or garbage outside? Well, I had to clean up the parking lot. I'm like, well, you could have asked your engineer for that. I'm like, no, I need him to fix rooms and fix other things. He's like, I can do it. So one thing I do, love about my husband is the fact that he took leadership. He did these things. He's the general manager cleaning out the parking lot. So he's not going to ask any of his staff to do anything that he wouldn't do or he hasn't already done, because of just staff being just cut short, so short. I mean, it was just a skeleton staff. But as far as like the industry, it was just very sad to see your colleagues. I had one colleague, she's from China, and she had her work visa. Her visa was tied up in her job, and she has a master's degree in hospitality, but she couldn't work because she was in limbo because of her visa. So it impacted a lot of people,
Wow. These are my first time hearing these types. I mean, there's so many stories out there, but it's like when you hear them to the people that actually, it's different, right? It's like a different feeling. Now, mind you, all the things that you all went through, y'all definitely could have left the industry like a lot of people have, left the hotel industry. Unfortunately, some people got let go during COVID, and I don't think, and I'm sure they couldn't agree that they didn't get let go probably the way they thought or felt they should have been let go. Meaning just the lack of communication, or just they felt like they, the management company or owners probably should have been more empathetic, right? So, and some just didn't come back. Now we have some people who have came back, and we're dealing with, and this is just the industry as a whole, and not even just the hospitality industry, but other industries. But for this show, we're gonna just talk about the hotel industry. It was a challenge to bring people back to work. So what made you all come back to work, given the stories that y'all experienced? Loren, what you went through with your husband, and it sounds like he's still in the hospitality industry. What made you all come back?
I think what made me come back is that, it's really the only thing I really know. And besides that, I loved it. I kept, also another thing is I kept good relationships with people. And I wasn't afraid to, I was an executive sales, administrator for Crown Plaza. And I wasn't afraid to come back down to work front desk. One of the things that I love about our industry is that you can work your way up. Whether it's one of the very few industries where you can work your way up, your hard work can pay off, and you can just go up without any kind of college education or background. So I did not mind going, because the honest day work and honest day's pay is what it is. So I didn't mind coming back down to front desk, because I'm like, I know I'm going to grow. I know I'm going to get there. It's going to be okay. Like, if it's not over. I can still grow. I can still learn. I can climb the ladder again. I've done it before. I could do it again.
What about you? What made you come back and still be in the industry after all what you went through?
I would partially say the same thing as Loren. Like, I really don't know how to do anything else. My talents are limited to a few things, and hospitality is really probably the only relevant one. And it's just, I just love it. Like when you have like, when you think back to, how you felt as a kid when you were going with your mom and flying and everything and that feeling. And then it's like, well, how could you do something else? So, and it was just important to me. Like, I felt like when the industry was in its greatest crisis of recorded history, should I just leave and abandon it after it's blessed me so much, given me so many things, after I've been like my life, like I've had so much fun doing this. The industry has given me this abundant life. and I'm just going to leave when the going gets tough. Heck no. I'm going to stay. And I really, like, in the moment was like, wow, we're literally living through history right now. So I should really be a part of this. And that's kind of why. It's just too important to leave right now or back then.
So prior to COVID, people who grew up in the industry, they left prior to COVID, right? And so now I don't know the data, so I don't have any statistics. Probably need to go find some, right? The data to support that, right? What do you all think as far as what can be done to get our generation and younger generations to have that passion, right? Or to get involved in the industry and stay in it? Because again, we're the next generation. And one thing about the hospitality industry, we're always going to be a service industry. You can't automate it. You can't turn it into a robot. As much as probably can, it's still a service industry, right? I don't know 200 years from now what it's going to look like, but it's probably still going to be a service industry because it's still a people industry, right? Yeah. So unless we all just like turn into robots or something, I mean, like other than that, it's still going to be a people industry, which
means, legend.
I know, right? Which means we're going to need people to service the industry, right? To service the guests. So what I'm just curious, what are your thoughts to get our generation and younger generations to get involved and to join the industry and to stay in it? Not just to join it, but we need folks to stay in it and grow, like you said, Loren. Starting off as a front desk agent and becoming a general manager or becoming, a corporate, GM or area director, revenue management. Like what advice? I would love to hear your thoughts.
Kyle's okay if I go?
Yep.
Okay. So for me, I think it's really, really about exposure. I was exposed with my parents working in the industry, also having the opportunity in high school to have a hotel management internship with Marriott. So that was that was a little kind of an early recruitment if you think about it. So just exposure. I think some people think of, when they think of hospitality, they think of you just clean rooms or you're a housekeeper, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think they're just so limited because they don't know too much about the industry. You can be director of spa, you can be a director of the convention center in your hometown or whatever. There's so many opportunities and so much exposure. But the other part is that when we do get this staff in place is training. Really taking out the time to train, also, seeing their potential, and also having some sort of career plan of where they can see themselves in the future, and building a rapport with your staff so that they really don't want to leave. They really like being there. They like the atmosphere. There's some growth there. Unfortunately for me, at one point with my first property, I was so good at my job, I didn't get promoted. So sometimes that can happen. They can think of, well, if we let Loren do this, how are we going to increase our heartbeat score? I worked with IHG. How are we going to get enrollments for, guests and everything? But you got to keep moving along. You shouldn't really be in the same place necessarily in 3 years' time. You should always keep excelling or keep growing. Or if you do reach the top of the food chain and be a general manager, you're growing your staff and you are passing along the baton. I interviewed with someone and he told me, I want you to have my job. Please, please take my job. I want you to have it. And that showed me that this person was thinking higher, they were thinking better, and they were thinking about their growth, and they weren't afraid to share information. I've been there where if they trained me and they shared the knowledge that they had, I probably would have surpassed them. But it's about collaboration and not competition when it comes to you and your staff and employees. Share the knowledge so they can also grow. And just that way the baton can be passed.
I love it. I hear you dropping some gems. All right, Kyle. You another gem dropper. Share your thoughts.
So yeah, I would say, like, basically the fun that you can have and the meaning that you can have doing it are like the two biggest things that I would say for people coming in. I actually just was at a college lecturing to the students, and that was my topic for the lecture was fun and meaning. And like, just to elaborate on that, like Davonne, like you could probably like agree with this, like how fun would it be for somebody to be able to fly around and go and visit different hotels that they own and operate and do all that kind of stuff? I mean, it's pretty fun, right? I mean, you're living in it. Like that's awesome. Like I was telling the kids, like I got put on task force one time and they sent a Escalade with a newspaper in the backseat to pick me up at the airport. And then I was living at this hotel, eating steak and drinking for free and doing all this stuff, working in the hotel, having fun, meeting new people. And then they sent this Escalade to pick me up, take me into downtown San Francisco. I got spent $250 on a seafood thing right on the ocean, and they paid for it and like did all this stuff.
So you got them all excited. I hope you didn't leave out the part, in order for you to get on task force, you have to be really good at your job. Cause I've done task force, so they don't let everybody do task force. For the folks who listening, they don't let everybody do task force. You have to be an expert at what you do, because you're going around at different hotels and you just going in and working nonstop. So you're making it fun, but I've done task force and you have a couple of days of fun throughout your a month or two, ever long you're there.
And
but you make it as fun.
You may not know what you're walking yourself into.
That's true.
No, you don't. But that's also the fun of it. Who would have thought that you could fly across the country, somebody would pick you up, take you to a hotel that you've never seen before with people you don't know. Yeah. And basically you're moving in for a period of time.
And you build relationships. I still talk to the people who I've done task force with. Like we're still Facebook friends.
Yeah. This one she was a accounting manager at this hotel, and she wishes me a happy birthday on Facebook, and she comments on my stuff and everything. And it's like, but you can make it as fun as you could possibly desire it to be. Like another quick story was like, I moved somebody's room one time. Yeah. It was they wanted a new room. So all I did was make the room change, gave them some new keys. The next day I come into work and there is a 2-hour Swedish massage gift card with gratuity already paid for the spa across the street at the hotel, with like basically all the bells and whistles already paid for. Boom, did that. Then I did something else for somebody and they gave me 2 tickets for a Lake Michigan river and lake dinner and those days, cruise.
Man.
I'm like,
take care of the guests.
Yeah, and they take care of you. I'm like, I'm living the life right now. It's like so much fun to do this.
For the folks who are listening, this is how you know we're all in operations. I can relate to all of them, right? I get it. I'm vibing right now. I'm jamming, because it's like once you work in like the front desk or it's like you or an operations, it's like it's like we see each other. We got that connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that synergy of people who, and you can be for people who are listening who are not yet in here, you can be in the synergy too. All you have to do is get in it, have fun, make the most of it. So that's the fun. On the meaning side of it, like you don't know like the depth of the impact that you can have on people if you're in this business.
That is so true.
You have no idea, like whether it's the guests or the team, like here at my hotel, we hire a lot of second chance people who have been incarcerated, felons, people who are recovering addicts, battered women, all these people. Like we had somebody show up here with a black eye. Her husband just beat her up. She had 2 kids with her. And she said, somebody told me I could come here and that you would help. And we gave her a job. We helped her. She got a PFA out on her abusive husband. And we're helping people. Like this is real life stuff that you can do in this business. And that's on the team side and on the guest side. You can make somebody's life. It's so meaningful if you just do it the right way. And you can have meaning and then have fun too. Like, Loren, you get this from your dad. Like I'll be walking through the kitchen and somebody's like, here, come try this like rack of lamb with like balsamic. I'm like,
you giving out, come on now. You telling the business. We can't share that. For the folks not in the hotel space yet, you have to join us in order for you to get the secrets. Because what goes on in the hotel stays in the hotel. So Kyle, you giving it up. See what happened and got you lax. because you got some hotel folks on the line.
Gotta reel it back in.
So for my folks who trying to get into business and y'all want to, and if y'all want to hear about these stories, and I need for y'all to join. Right.
All I gotta say is you can eat and drink really, really good for no money. That's all.
Really well.
What? Yes, matter of fact, I heard this one quote. I heard this one quote. They was like, one thing about the hotel industry, you can live and travel. No. You can travel like a millionaire, but not be one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Paraphrasing the quote. But when I heard that, I was like, that is so true, right? With the discounted rate.
Yes.
So it's just one of the benefits. So
that's another thing that keeps me along.
So I know that's why I had to buy another. That's why I had to buy a hotel. So what do you all think like that we should be doing as an industry? So Loren, I love how you mentioned before about high school, right? I love how you mentioned how, you know, your dad, it was kind of like it's in you. You know, like I feel like hospitality is in me. People could say Davonne, why is hospitality? I got my first job in college. I literally, they was like, Davonne, you smile a lot. You want to make $10 an hour. I was like, heck yeah, I'm about to be rich. And I fell in love with it ever since. I don't know anything else. Like, I just don't know anything else other than to being in this space. But our industry, we're facing, and even with my hotels, like we're facing challenges with bringing in people to actually work because we're competing with so many different other industries, you know, with the pay, you know, with the benefits. I will say our employees, the people in my hotel, they respect that I treat them like people and not like a number. And they actually told me that, right? So, because I was there, you know, I want somebody to like, you know, the people who are working in these hotels, I've given my life to a hotel before. Literally, I've sacrificed so much. And I'm sure you all have too, working one, then night audit calls off, and then you working from, you know, 1 p.m. to 7 in the morning. Because he had to cover the mic. So you know what I mean? So I've been there. I didn't pay my dues, okay?
Yes.
So think, oh, she young, she don't know.
I don't testimony.
Right? So I didn't work every shift, okay? So, but what can we do? And can we do to literally, I understand why you all stayed, but what can we do as an industry to bring in people to work in our industry? Like, how can we make it as exciting? Like how, because Kyle, I see the passion in you. Like you love it.
I actually when I am able to do it, I will hire a film crew to like follow me around just to see like how fun it is and just put out like a weekly vlog on YouTube or like a Netflix show. Because it's like, then you can really see like what's going on. Like, boom, we're going here. And then boom, we're going over here. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to cook this meal. And then we're going to take care of this person. And then we're going to go over here. And then we're flying across the country to go
People
here.
need to see it. People need to see what they're getting into.
Or
I think with the industry, a lot of people, they don't see what they're getting into. Like, and another thing is you really have to have a passion for this because it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of hard work. Yeah. And then the thing is, y'all, we dealing with people in between they bed, like they hotel room. So it's like, I always say, look, it's bad to be in front of somebody when they hungry. And then it's bad to be that in-between person when somebody trying to get into the guest room. It's a hard job, right? But if we let people know what they're expecting, like Loren, you mentioned the whole high school aspect. And then Kyle, you mentioned like just something simple is like, what is a day in the life of working in a hotel space? So people can see the different factors.
Yeah, you know what? I want to do that with the film crew. I think I'm going to somehow do that. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to, we'll figure it out.
Let me know. I would love to come on and guest star or be in the background.
Well, you know what? Like, it would be fun to be like, let's go and visit people from different hotels and see what their life is like. So it's not just me. It's like,
wait a minute. Do I need to wait a minute? Do I need to stop the podcast? Because we are giving out some really great ideas, right?
So everyone listening, you will have to sign an NDA before you can listen to this podcast.
Hey, people already know. Like, people already know. If you want to work with Davonne, if you want to get in my search, you got to sign an NDA.
This is this is brainstorming at a whole new level.
This is what happens. This is what
we're going too deep right now, though.
We're going too deep, but the thing is, we need to do something because I've been thinking about this for years. And I've been trying to have this conversation. That's what I get around with smart people like yourselves who are smarter than me. What can be done? Because I see so many people my age. Oh, I've seen so many people my age and younger that start in the industry and we just get burnt out. We're not appreciated. Loren, like you mentioned before, I definitely got passed over on a lot of promotions where I know I earned it. Like I know I earned that promotion and I didn't get it. That was detrimental to me. Like I wanted to leave. I wanted to give up. Matter of fact, I just was like, I don't even care anymore. Right. And I left. Right. Because I just didn't care. Because it was like, okay, you know, what are you doing? You're not helping me. Right. And so, of course, they mad now.
Yeah. Now you'll never be passed over again because you own it.
That was a big mic drop.
So I heard some really great things. I heard letting people know. I'm just like just giving some action items and stuff out there. So I heard from Kyle, letting like kind of, it's fun. The hospitality industry is fun, right? Getting behind the scenes, you know, seeing the different aspects, really working with the guests and making the guests feel happy, right? And make sure that they're enjoying their stay. Loren, you talked about starting off from like high school, right? You know, because a lot of times, a lot of people are getting into college. They don't know that they can major in hospitality. Like they think, oh, I'm just checking it out. Guess the hospitality industry is one of the few industries. There's so many different components. There's front desk, general manager, technology, architecture, interior design, accounting,
catering,
event planning. You know, I mean, so many people want to be event planners. Like, you can work in a hotel and do that. You know, catering, you know, it's so many different components. There are hotels with golf courses. So for the people who want to get golf, you know, it's so many different, you got chefs, pastry chefs. It's so, and then you can travel and you can work at hotels from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so definitely encouraging, and like, you know, Kyle mentioned it, putting it out there, letting folks tap into different generations and different cultures and just getting it out there and letting folks know, hey, this is a great industry to work for. But the thing is, and Loren, you made a good point of how we can retain them, is like letting them be heard, like passing information, the training. It's hard to train now because we don't have the staff, right? That's like the common thread. Like, look, I'm just trying to get an employee to stay. Okay.
Yes. I mean, and then also the other part of factor is like people are traveling more now. So we have the demand, but now we have to have the supply of employees. And it gets to where it's sometimes either sink or swim, or you put someone in front desk with another employee and you're the manager, you're not really training them as the manager, and you let them shadow someone, which is okay sometimes. But sometimes that other employee can get that other person's bad habits. The new person can pick up another employee's bad habits.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's supposed to be iron sharpens iron. So, you know, just really, because you can get burnt out really quick. I've done a 3 to 11 shift and had to do a 7 to 3. Or when I was the FOM, a front office manager, I had to come back and do night audit after somebody just called out an hour before. So things like that happen, but it's also about your employees feeling appreciative, because you know they just happy employees, happy guests, you know, and also empowering them to be able to make decisions. Can they comp a room? Can they give away, you know, also giving them ideas for service.
Slow your roll.
Well, I know, right? But like for service recovery points, you know, instead of comping a room. Because if you're
F&B always to the rescue. Why we got comp a room? You know what I mean?
You can do a complimentary breakfast, complimentary dinner, drink tickets, all that kind of stuff. It kind of gets a little limited when you're at a limited service property of what you can do.
But I see what you're saying. What can be done from a service recovery?
Yeah, now, and just them having the empowerment that they can make those kind of decisions without management.
Yeah, and Kyle,
they feel empowered.
Yeah, and Kyle, you mentioned that before, is about some of the things that I'm sure you've done. It sounds like you have a great rapport with your guests, all the gifts and stuff you give. Now, we give so much information. Like, this is so great. I hope that the people who are tuning in, the people who have been in operations, or the people who are trying to figure out how we can fix this labor issue. And the reason why I wanted y'all to come on is because I've been seeing so many different conversations of labor issue but from people who not like really in the trenches. So it's like, we need to talk to the people who are in the trenches because they're in the like they're there, like they're hearing, because employees, they gonna talk to their managers and HR differently than they gonna talk to their coworkers. So you're hearing what the coworkers are saying. Like you hearing it, you seeing what your coworkers like, girl, like, hey, I'm ready to go. Like, you know, I'm looking for a job as we speak because of X, Y, and Z. They're not gonna tell HR that. They're not gonna tell their manager that. They're just gonna get up and leave. And by the time it's too late. So I wanted to bring you all on and people who are in the trenches, because not only y'all are experiencing things, but y'all are hearing what your coworkers are saying. Like your coworkers are telling you, hey, I'm about to quit. Don't tell anybody, but I'm about to quit. Like,
I've been there.
You know what I mean?
There.
And they tell you why. So the stuff that y'all, you know, it's a little madness, you know. I mean, we trying to put stuff together. But no, I really appreciate y'all coming on here, sharing your insights, sharing your information. I hope that the people who are listening, they were inspired to grab some nuggets. I know I did. This is just a great conversation. Kyle, can you let folks know where they can find you? And you didn't even talk about your documentary. So can you let folks know where they can find you? I know you have your podcast. Tell us.
I do have those things. First of all, thank you for letting me be here. This was a fun podcast to record. Like, people have boring podcasts. This is not a boring podcast. And Davonne, you have the best smile on the west side of the Mississippi. I remember that from that guest, which is true though. So thank you for being here. Loren, you're awesome. Like, you're funny too. You have a great smile. And people can find me with my podcast. I'm on YouTube, Hospitality MD, like a doctor. I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Kyle Allison. Either one of them, just search those two things and you'll find different things. I go live on LinkedIn 3 times a week, so you can find me there too. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It's called the PM shift.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
PM shift.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I get the notifications.
Yeah. So we get some people on. Actually, maybe you guys can come on sometime. I don't know if y'all in bed at that time.
Part 2. What's up? Let's go.
I know it's a little late for people, but we like to have guests on.
Hey, too. I'm a night owl. Come on, I just told you I worked the 3 to 11, 1 to 9, the 11 to 7. I feel like I still can't go to sleep on that shift.
Yeah, I don't sleep well at night either. I'm always going.
Person.
Yep.
Going to school in the morning and working at night. Too much. Loren, what about you? How can folks find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram or any social media platform at Reimagine Hospitality. So please look up Reimagine Hospitality. You'll find me.
I didn't know that was you.
Look at that, making connections.
Okay.
Wait, I think I'm already like.
You could be following me.
I think we're already like on there.
Friends on there.
Yeah. I love it. I love the connections.
Wait a second.
I love the connections. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. You can follow us, Next Gen and Lodging. We're on LinkedIn as well as Instagram and YouTube. So thank you again. Thank you, Hotel News Now, for this partnership and collaboration. And a very special thank you to our wonderful guests today, Kyle Allison and Loren Brown. And we will see you next time. It may not be me, maybe Chris, or maybe Amara. But either way, it's gonna be one of us, always giving you as much information as we possibly can with a diverse audience so you all can hear different perspectives on different topics. So thank you all so much and see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Hotel News Now podcast network. Make sure to subscribe on Apple or Spotify for more. And visit hotelnewsnow.com for more hospitality industry news.